Just doing our missions. Missions within the mission.
Yep.
All right. All right, so it's going to take me 4 or 5 minutes to
No problem.
roll this out.
No
So what I'm going to do, we are live. We're there. Two people are already here. Bruce is back. Aline's here. Okay, go live. Let's see.
I can't see the conversation, but that's okay.
Well, what you could do if you want, there'll be a delay. You could open up another window, go to YouTube, go to the SoulogyOneStudios.
You know what? I'll read it after. I guess.
No problem.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
So let me put on here going live on YouTube, Facebook not allowing. Oops. Not allowing. With MACKL.
EAN.
Yep. Yeah. For some reason, it's not letting me tag you.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's just in the air. You know. I think there's a lot of yeah. We already got 9 people in here. So, but I'm going to go ahead and let everybody know in Facebook that we're going to be here. All right. So, hey, how y'all doing? Todd Medina. I'm able to do a Facebook Live from my phone, but not able to connect with Zoom or be live. So once again, we are going to go over to YouTube. We've got our guest, our beautiful guest, Ann McKean. McKean, I'm sorry, Ann McKean.
Okay.
Also known as BCT, PGA, WHUS, etc. But you can see we're on YouTube now, and we're going to be there. Going to start here in about 2 or 3 minutes. Let me get that off. Yeah, we're going to start here in 2 or 3 minutes, which is probably the last show of the day, our third show of the day. We may come back on and do a round table, an open mic, which has been well received recently, where we just bring in new faces. But for right now, we're going to be with Ann McKean. Let me give you a little bit of well, first of all, let me share this link. Let me share this link to my our Facebook pages. And that way people can find it with ease and grace, as we all want to experience this ascension. Let's see. Paste. And, well, that's strange. Maybe they're not going to let us do it. I don't know.
You have my information in your messenger.
Yeah. I'm going to, I got it now. Okay, so going, let's see, live now with Ann McKean, McKean. All right, so let me just go ahead and post that. I'm putting the link to the next show. We're not allowed to go on Facebook again, so we're going to go on YouTube. I just put the link to the top of my page, my personal page, where we normally do the broadcast. I'm also going to put it into the Soulogy group, and I'm also going to put it on the SoulogyOneStudios Facebook page. So if you guys would like to sit down with a new face in the Soulogy crowd, we would like to familiarize you with her and myself. Get to know her a little bit. Ann McKean, I put the link at the top of my page, top of the Facebook Soulogy group page, and it's at the top of the SoulogyOneStudios Facebook page. We're going to be on YouTube. We're already live. There we are. And we've got 16 people in YouTube now. You can also watch it, of course, on Zoom. That information's at the top of our pages, as well as the link for the YouTube. So let me go ahead and get situated here. Okay, and put this up. See you guys if you're interested. If it resonates with you, come meet our new friend Ann McKean. You can see us in the Zoom room with Sasha Grace, Marie Iverson, Michael Van Patten. You can also come to YouTube. The link's at the top of my pages. My personal page, SoulogyOneStudios Facebook page, and the Soulogy group page. Let's see what else we need to do. I'll see you there shortly. All right. All right. So let me go ahead and pull up YouTube on my phone so I can see the comments. Just share that out real quick. A lot of energy floating around today. Interesting shows, interesting things happening with technology. I think
Yeah.
I can feel the alignment of a great show here.
Mhm.
I'm not sure what we're going to get into, but
Exciting. Exciting.
we got this here. Let me go back over here, pull this up, and let's see. Ann McKean. All right. I'm going to roll this out just 1 second. Okay. 1 second. All right, we got 27 people in the house. Hello, Bruce Fischetti again. Seems like I'm always walking the plank. Yeah. Well, the universe hadn't let us down yet, has it? We got Aline, my dear friend from Soulogy, Norway. Sophie Thornelly from Adelaide, South Australia, where my dearly beloved's from. Jacques Atwell. Isabella Quiroz from Scotland. Nelson, her husband. Welcome, both of y'all. Helga, how you doing? Loved your comments on the last show. Who else we got here? Raw Food Foot Soldier, Chris. Right on. And Lady of the Lake, welcome. Dale Lawrence and Monique Lelani. I apologize if I mispronounce some of your names, but that's what happens when you have a Texas accent. Hello, Mickey King, Amanda Summer, Morgan H. from Tucson, Paul Castaneda, and Faridi Naini. All right. Okay, so let's get this thing started. Todd Medina, SoulSpeaks 5D, Soulogy.One Network. This is our primary show. We call it SoulSpeaks 5D. It's a conversation. It's not an interview. And today we have a divine feminine with us who's been doing this quite some time. I'm not sure if I've read that or if I just know that. As we're all tapped into the Akashic now and the Beehive Intelligence. Here's a little bio on her from early on. I felt that there was more to life than what meets the eye. Strong intuitions triggered and nourished my curiosity to explore what seemed unexplained. I clearly remember a moment when I knew that somehow one day, in my own way, I was going to play an active part in, let's see here, an active part in the world's awakening. For most of my adult life, I worked in television and encountered various work situations and personas. Working from behind the scenes in the camera lens, my keen sense of observation expanded and sharpened tremendously. Parallel to my professional life, I continued exploring consciousness furthermore. I have experienced different tools, and it is through numerology based on 22 numbers that I came across answers and confirmations on a more profound level. I dedicated years to learn and practice this coded language where every number has a vibration and energy which carries a message. With my clientele and workshops, I hold both in person and online. I help and support others through their own explorations and discoveries, inviting them to self-empowerment. Welcome to the show, Ann McKean. It's an honor to have you with us. Thank you for sharing space with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You're very welcome.
Yeah.
That's what this platform's for. It's for all the voices of the Mother Goddess, in each and every one of us.
Your show inspires me enormously for a long time now. And all your guests are so interesting. And I feel it's like my family. I feel like most people that you have on, it's their first time. And it's the same thing for me. I'm not used to being in front of the camera. I'm behind the camera usually. So it's a exciting moment for me. Scary, but exciting.
Well,
yeah.
So did you say this is the first time?
Yeah, it's my first time.
Oh, wow.
I'm coming out.
Well, 1,000 plus episodes. We've had quite a few divine feminines in particular come out for the first time. And it's been an honor for us to hold space and support that. That's what this platform is all about. I get the impression that you've been doing this for a long, long time.
Hiding. Yeah.
hiding, as many of those like you have. Was there a moment in time when you woke up?
I think I've always been very young, very, very young. I was very intuitive. I lived a lot of experiences young and was scared because I didn't understand what was happening to me. And there was nobody to talk to about it. When I tried, they were worried about me. So I sort of shut up. And there were moments where I would meet all kinds of, can say, entities when I was very young. And so it was like they knew I could see them and I didn't want to see them. I can understand why I would see them.
Right.
And some entities I knew that crossed over, and some I didn't know. So I was very scared. So I sort of shut that down, feeling alone and not understood. So I lived it in a lonely way. Actually, it was very lonely because I couldn't share it with anybody.
Yeah.
My family knew I was a little weird, but they loved me anyway, but I just didn't push on it. But it was always there. Even if I shut it down, it would reappear many times in my life. And I had this sensitivity, you may call, feeling. I could see when I was young, but then I shut that down, and then I felt a lot of intuition around me. So I've later on in my life, well, I went through a lot of, different. I had a good childhood, but I went through a few experiences that were very difficult, and that reopened my search for this unknown, this unexplainable, this invisible world, if you want. And so I was looking for answers. And so I met somebody who taught me numerology. And I said, well, okay, we'll look at that. And because I have a mind that's very analytical and 1 + 1 = 2, but now 1 + 1 = 3.
That's right.
So it gave me a lot of answers. It was like a therapy for me. I learned a lot about myself, and I understood that what I was feeling since my childhood was always there and will always be there. So I sort of opened up to that and learned a lot and about myself and why I was so curious and thriving to know more. My whole life, I did a lot of research, read books. There was no internet in those days, but I read a lot. The books I could read, and so this numerology thing just opened up, and I said, I want to do this.
Yeah.
If I found out a lot about myself, understood a lot about myself, and it was simple for me, very simple. I was at a point where I got to read numbers like text or like music or, it's like a code, eh? It's only a code.
Yeah.
So it codes, and it opened up a whole world for me. And, I was doing something else in my life for 35 years, but I've always done this on the side.
Yeah.
Word of mouth.
Yeah.
With people that knew me or referred me or. And
so you're working with numerology is your representation or your form of energy work.
Yeah, it's my connection, if you want. It's like you need to have something, and that was a way for me to connect. If I have clients, well, I just look at their numerology, and I see a lot there. So, and after that, once I have the consultation with the client, well, then everything comes out. It's like if I'm connected, I have to be connected.
Yeah. And
so,
and how do you go about connecting? When you have a client, some practitioners, energy practitioners, talk about connecting their higher self to their higher self, and then asking
I do that all the time.
or the
Yes. I
allowance
connected.
to the other higher, the client's higher self.
Yes.
So
I
that
always do that.
connection. Okay, so it's very, very. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Did you reach a point, or when did you reach the point when you realized that crazy isn't crazy anymore?
I think I've always knew crazy was not crazy, really, but I felt I couldn't talk about it to anybody. So that's why, there wasn't too much advancement, because I had nobody to talk to about it. So I've always felt there was something, even if I was weird.
We all.
But I kept it hidden because I didn't want to be judged.
Yeah.
I didn't want to.
You're in good company.
Yeah, I know.
All of us here. So it's a very familiar story.
Yeah.
What you're talking about. Now you've been doing this for years and years and years, and we'll get into the numerology a little bit later. What's it been like to see this this mass awakening, or at least critical mass awakening, where you're seeing other people like yourselves? What's that meant to you after being so, being in the closet for so long?
Finally,
yeah,
that's the feeling. It's like a feeling of freedom, of being able to be myself. This is, what I'm doing tonight is I'm coming out. And it took me a while just to get on Facebook. Was very private and very secretive, and it's like I'm at the point where I just can't do that anymore. I have to get out there and be myself, be authentic, and so and if it means risking losing people around me, well, just too bad. And people have been leaving and coming in, new people coming in. And so I'm feeling what your other guests are saying, or sharing, most of the same things. I feel this awakening is finally, this is what I'm feeling inside. Very excited, very, very touched, very humbled. Finally, I can be myself. It's almost, I could have done it before, but I waited this long. So now I'm there. I'm here.
Congratulations. Congratulations to all of us. There's been a lot of talk recently about, and I think this is more about the method versus the individuals. But a lot of talk is, especially since the first of the year, has been around the dissolution or disintegration of the yogi guru and into self-empowerment. So many people that come on this show have done the type of work you do. They might use cards. They do readings, what people call readings. Mm-hmm. And there was a certain frequency of power, giving power over versus self-empowering. Now, many, many people like yourself talk about, just showing the way, showing them their power and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Have you seen a change in the clientele, in their perception, in their questions? Because many of the people that I see that do this stuff online, I get a lot of people in the audience saying, can you tell me what's going on with me? Can you tell me what's going to happen with my relationship, and so on and so on and so on? Do you have any perspective on that? Any comments on that?
Well, when I have those kinds of questions, I really don't like to do predictions and stuff like that. I can see through the numbers certain vibes, certain things, difficulties that somebody may encounter. But I don't believe in, I think we change every day, every moment, every instant. The numerology is only a guiding way to connect with my guides and their guides, and to answer what they really need now. What's more, and sometimes they're not getting the answers they're looking for. It could happen, but it's like a seed. and sometimes, you know, if I'm connected, I don't remember. Usually I don't remember what I said.
Wow.
So people will come back to me and say, wow, you said this and this and this happened. Oh, really? Did I say that? You know, and sometimes it's not even my language. It's like words that they would understand maybe. It's like there's, when I'm in that connection, it's not me talking. I'm not channeling, I don't think, but I'm with that person. But it's like when it's finished, it's finished. You know, it's so whatever they needed, they get. You know, profoundly. You know, so
very cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of your own experience, have you experienced what people talk about, ascension symptoms in the physical, emotional, mental?
A lot. Right now, oh yeah, definitely. But it's the last few weeks, it's been really smooth. It's funny because it's almost like I'm surrendering so much that I'm at this point where I'm here. This is another surrender for me. It's every time I'm surrendering, everything's cool.
Right?
Because if I'm controlling, if I'm, I used to get what I wanted and do what I had to do to get what I wanted.
Yeah.
And that hasn't been working for me at all in the last years, 5 years. It's like the world says, no, well, what's happening? Why is it not working? You know, so it's really I've worked a lot on my ego, worked a lot on my masculine side because I was working as a cameraman and worked with men my whole life, and it was a choice.
God bless you.
It was a choice, but I had to be almost like a man.
Yeah, of course.
And so what you're going through, men, I'm going through also. Yeah. So
that's a really good point.
Ego thing, you know.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Let's see. I think I got a question here. Is there a way to see other people's comments other than just mine? I don't know. If you're in Zoom, what I would suggest, Sasha, you go to YouTube. Go to YouTube. The link's at the top of my page. Thank you for letting me know that you can't see other people's comments. That's a really good point.
Yeah, so it's been, you know, I loved the shows you had with men and what you men are going through and how you're showing your vulnerability, how you're showing your humility. That touches me because I lived in a man's world and I'm almost, you know, had to be a man, you know, very, very, very competitive, like a man, you know?
Yeah. No, I totally get it. I had a corporate career for many, many years. Yeah, I love what you said. It's kind of like, you know, how you're showing your ass. Which I've always said, I am soul, just another way of saying I'm not afraid to show my ass. But yeah, that masculine, that false masculine's fallen away. And I love what you said because you are a woman. And I didn't really see it in this fluctuation of the masculine and feminine energies over, say, the last 3 or 4 years. And in a different way, it started to come to the surface. And I want to say it started in April. And that was where you could actually see the false or the wounded masculine, the wound of the masculine in both men and women. And I think a lot of it had to do with because of the experiential. Like in your case, you were in an environment where you were in a man's job, basically. But many of these women seem to pick it up too, from being the caretaker, but also the breadwinner. You know, being the man in the house because there wasn't a man, and raising children and such. So I think that's a very good point.
I did that, yeah.
And I applaud you for that because there was a lot of separation and even projection between the sexes up until these last 60 days or so. It's kind of gotten interesting as women are coming out, and I would imagine we're going to follow suit soon. But women coming out and saying, "Hey, I've got to work on my masculine, or I'm aware of my masculine imbalance, or that type of thing. So that's a good thing for us to hear.
Yeah, and I have to reconcile with the woman in me. You know, it's like I was convinced in those days, the early days, that there's no difference in between a woman and a man. Somebody would say, you're a cameraman? Wow, you must be good. You must be it must be beautiful what you do. You must be more sensitive. I would say, no, no, I'm just like a man. You know, it's just that he has a penis and I have a vagina. That's all. That's different.
Yeah.
And I was convinced of that. That was my protection mode, because I had to find a way, my place there. Yeah. So I had to be very competitive and show I was able, I was capable, and all that game. But 15 years after when I started, I realized I was putting the whole feminine side of me away, and I wasn't miserable. So I had to reconcile with my feminine parts. But I still have to, right now, as we're speaking, there's still some work to do there. So I have to heal my masculine, and I have to reconcile with my feminine. So I'm in that process right now. But I'm feeling the veils are lifting, and and I'm learning a lot on your show, because I see myself in all your guests, most of your guests. So it's very reconciling, with myself. Yeah.
Now, in terms of numerology, I remember in my early 20s when I was reading a lot of books. I'm 57, so maybe within the same time period. We didn't have the internet. And I remember coming across a numerology book as I was looking through the occult sections of the bookstores and metaphysical. And I remember doing some stuff with my name, my birthplace, and I want to say a couple other things. And there was a lot of resonance to it. Can you give us like a general overview of what numerology offers, and even really get into what your sessions offer?
Okay, I don't work with the names or anything. I have everything I need with just your date of birth. With that date of birth, a lot of numbers come up. And what I see is the shadow side.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So I see also the real person, not the persona, but the real person, okay? The soul, and what that soul is doing here.
Wow.
And how, and what vibe, how do you get there, okay? And so I can see all our defense mechanisms, and that's the shadow.
Yeah.
Because we learn that very young, how to defend ourselves, how to be loved, how to not be in our fears, but we're still in our fears, and we're still in it. So I can see that. And I can see their keys onto how to come to the middle. It's like with the 8, you have to be on your X. So this is where I try to lead, guide, if you want, or share with people how to be their authentic self, as well as mine, as well as mine, because I'm learning a lot too through that. So so that's my forte.
Yeah, I've noticed that about some of the practitioners. I'm going to say the better ones. I'm just going to say some of the practitioners who come on the show talk about how they grow from each session themselves. That there's nothing that they go through in a session that they're not getting some kind of insight, some kind of expansion from. Now, you really, what you're describing, if you just, for my sake, I took out the numerology and my own preconceived notions. It sounds like that's the language you use. That's the method you use. Sounds like you have a connection, like all the practitioners that I've talked to.
It's a tool. It's a tool.
It's a tool. Now, do you have any specific divine essences or galactic essences or whatever, however you want to put it?
It's funny because there's my higher self a lot, and there are presence, and I know they're there. I don't see them because I closed that, but I'm going to see them soon. But it's a lot the elementals, I've had a lot of connection with I love trees, the nature, can speak to butterflies, you know. I've had sessions just taking pictures in nature and just walking and taking pictures with the macro on my phone, you know, on my phone. I have the camera, but I don't even use the camera, use my phone.
Yeah.
And I have a macro I put on it. And I started taking pictures of nature, just leaves. And because of the macro, you get so close to the subject, you're like in their DNA. Okay. Yeah. It's like the numerology is DNA, the numerology I do. Anyway, so you're like in the macro. So you're very, very close to the subject. So you can see things in the photo, but not with your eyes. It's only once you take the picture. So I've seen a lot of things. When I'm connected, butterflies, there's a butterfly, you know, those little white butterflies that don't stay put. They're always moving. Well, there was one butterfly that gave me 20 minutes, a little white, this big. And I was able to get this close with my camera, this close to the butterfly. And I could see he was speaking to me, or she. Yeah. And turning around, you know, I mean, this is a butterfly, and saying, okay, is this okay? This is a good position. You know, I was talking to her, saying, no, I won't hurt you. Just give me some time. And so she gave me some time. And so I got some amazing photographs of this butterfly that just amazed me, you know. Flowers, it's anything, trees. So I'm very connected with the elemental.
There are no coincidences. Yeah. I'm going to ask you when the show's over to go on the YouTube, and you could even put it on the Facebook post, your link. We've already had somebody ask how can they get in contact with you, and that's usually what happens when people come on the show. They get an influx of interest. So, but yeah, can you let us know just right now verbally, how can people get in touch with you and how can they find you?
It's on my Facebook. My Facebook, can I give you my mail also?
Yeah, whatever you want to give.
Okay, my mail is Ann McKean, there's no E on Ann, MACKEAN @gmail.com. And there's also my Facebook, business Facebook, that's what you call it, affaire in French. But
I think so, yeah.
Business, so it's in French, I'm sorry. I'm going to change it in English also, but...
I just realized you're French Canadian, aren't you?
Yeah, French. You don't have many guests? I didn't see any from Montreal. No. Do you have any? No.
Yeah, we've had a few. Yeah, 1,000+ episodes. We've had a few.
Yeah,
but
really?
Not a lot.
Okay.
Not a lot. Not compared to Toronto or Vancouver.
Okay. So there's my Facebook is Ann McKean, consultant, découverte de soi par les nombres. So that's my business page.
Yeah. And then I guess they could find you if they instant message you as well.
Yeah, for sure. They can message me for sure. And I'll
I mean, your sessions sound like you're basically, you're a channel. I mean, you're channeling.
I'm discovering this. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I'm not channeling. I can't say I'm channeling. I'm there. I'm with that person, but it's like coming in, and it's what that their guides want me to say. It's not me, my ego.
Oh, yeah, their guides.
Yeah, their guides, not mine.
Yeah, their guides speaking through your higher self to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's what I ask every time I do a session. Yeah.
And that's really what I hear from these practitioners that are coming out. You know, the ones that have been more in the background. Not to take anything away from those who've had the courage to get out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I've heard that this is what they do. They connect to the other higher self, or the team of the other of the client, and they just pull in the information from essentially the client's higher self that the higher self of the client is trying to convey to the client that maybe the client's not hearing.
But that means that meets the needs, the higher needs of that person, and you're not obstructing. with what you think is right or wrong, or so it's being in respect also with that person's energy. And who am I to decide on whatever, and I don't say everything I see, because what I see doesn't mean it's what they need to hear, or they want to hear, or need to hear. I think it's all in equilibrium. I don't know how you say. Yeah. So it has to be in a flow, and if the person's open, I just tune in to that person and where they're at and what they need at that time. So, but there are people opening up to this new energy, and this is extraordinary. This is fantastic. So if we can do anything to help, or
have you had any galactic communications or impressions or anything like that?
in my dreams, I've done a lot of how do you call that?
Astral travel?
Yeah, I've done a lot of those. Lucid dreaming, a lot, but no, not much of the galactic. Not yet.
Yeah,
soon to come.
and some do and some don't. Some are straight.
Not
organic.
consciously. Yeah, it's organic, but consciously, no. But a lot of things in my dreams, a lot of things, and I sometimes I wake up and I feel I worked all night.
Yes, I can share that. I think we can all share that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So now, you talked about that you experienced the things that people talked about on the show in terms of ascension symptoms and different things like that. I'm always curious to know what a practitioner like yourself, what do you do when you get triggered, when the energies are too strong, whenever it's an oh shit moment, and what do you do on a personal level to transform or cope or so have it?
I tend to breathe. And I try to, one trick I do is I stay connected in my heart, and I detach myself of my body. And it's like I'm looking over me, and there's something else looking over what's looking over me. So and as much as I go up, the more I'm up, the more I'm detached of the situation. So I can observe. I observe since I've been young. I was very shy, and I still am, but I would observe from a distance. And so I still do that in situations where I get out of my body and I watch myself react or not react, or the whole situation. And I see what maybe my higher self is saying. Can you see what's happening here? And every time I'm triggered, also, I always, and for many years now, I bring back to myself and say, okay, I can blame the other person or the situation, or I can bring it back to me and say, okay, what are you not respecting in yourself? What are you not listening into yourself? I've been doing that for a long, long time, to not get into the drama, even if sometimes I'm not too good at it. But sometimes I can get out of it and say, well, listen, there's something, like in French, c'est pas un hasard. It means it's not a hazard. It's not a fluke. If that's happening to you, it's because there's something you have to understand. So everything.
You ordered it on the menu from the higher self perspective. And a lot of people talk about what you're describing, which is to detach, observe the human aspect from the higher self, but that there is like an over self, even looking at the higher self.
Exactly. It's like three echelons, it's like it's like not one better than the other. It's just that it's even more detached and clearer, maybe. It translates to one that translates to Anne, And so
and what are your thoughts on the term or on the practice of shadow work, on the importance of shadow work?
Oh my God. I mean, I'm so anxious that it finishes someday, but it's always there. I mean, there's always some shadow work. It seems to be always there. There's always something to learn. I think as long as we're living in this body, I think we're going to go through. I don't want to be defeatist. I don't want to be negative, but there's always something to learn. And I think that shadow work is, the way I see it, is very positive. When I see it in the numerology, I see the clues. I see the keys in the shadow. The answers are there, you know. So if we victimize ourselves, we can't see it, that's for sure. So when we see it with objectivity and observe and detached, we see so many answers, and it just makes us stronger. So even though at the beginning it's hard, I think as I'm going further in my life, I'm seeing the benefits of that shadow.
Yeah,
it's like purifying. Maybe it affects people around us, you know, without them knowing. And just the way you eman, the way you shine, the way you just being who you are.
Yeah.
So and affects your family without talking about it, your friends. Yeah. So we're all interconnected, that's for sure. But all we can do is work on ourselves, you know. And the more we do that, and I think it's going to be as long as we live, personally. But it won't be as hard, maybe. You know?
I agree. Do you think there's a relationship between what we manifest, what we manifest in relation to what we truly desire and want, and on one side of the equation, and shadow work?
Okay, ask me that question again.
So, in other words, we all have a certain desire of what we would like to have and experience in life, you know. We spend, you know, people talked a lot about the law of attraction, the book The Secret, you know, and to me, I'm not making light of it. I'm just saying that I didn't see anything mentioned about shadow work in The Secret. I didn't see anything mentioned about, not anything to any depth anyway, about the importance of shadow work. Now, at the same time, it was kind of a pro energy, or I guess what I'm trying to say is it was almost like in a disregard for shadow work. There was, I can sit here and think about what I want, imagine it, and it's going to come to me. Is there is there a relation between doing shadow work and bringing positive things into your life, things that you want?
I'm living it right now. If I can say, I'm lifting the veils, working on my shadow work. And for me, it's a lot of the surrender and a lot of the faith. As soon as I go into wanting, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
As soon as I go into desiring, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's really, for me, I'm really, right now, it's fresh. Surrender. And I've been working on this for 4 years, 5 years, the surrendering thing. And it's not, it's like it comes in waves. And then as soon as I go back into my patterns of wanting or desiring or wanting to control something, it does not work. It's not working. So it's my shadow. It's the lifting of that shadow, or the consciousness of my shadow, of controlling or analyzing, or it's not working when I'm there. And it did before in the 3D, but now I really feel it's not working anymore. I can't go that way. It's just not working. So I have to surrender. I don't have a choice. And I think we're all in that position of surrendering, and everybody has a different surrender to do. But, and so, yes, there's a correlation with the shadow work and what we desire, as long as we
let go.
Let go.
Yeah, let go or be dragged. Seems to be the.
And it, you know, and you're dragged sometimes a long time, you know. And,
so, you just said something there. Oh, well, you said something I never heard, which was by removing the shadows, you're removing the veils. Now we're in something that's been prophesized as an apocalypse, which the dictionary definition is unveiling. I just find that very interesting that from an individual standpoint, our shadow work is itself the apocalypse, the unveiling.
Absolutely.
As opposed to some kind of collective biblical event happening. You know, it's actually happening within the space of the universe, within ourselves. Yeah. Very interesting.
Absolutely. It's like, I see it like the onion, you know, you take off a peel and a peel and a peel to get to the heart, to the purity of, you know, our being, you know. So as soon as we get rid of one peel, one shadow, it's plus léger, it's lighter, you know. So, and we feel lighter. But as we get closer, it seems like it's more tender, more
yeah, harder to admit.
Harder to admit, exactly. Yeah. And so, and it's a bigger piece to surrender as we get closer. But with the experience, I think we can do it. You know, it's like just let it go and
chill out.
You know,
chill out.
You know, don't take yourself too seriously. That's another one. Oh yeah, for sure. Laugh at yourself. Laugh at the situation. You know. So.
Well, I can tell you've worked on yourself a lot, especially as you mentioned over the last 4 years or so.
Oh yeah.
Are you seeing a difference in the energy, the time that it takes to identify, analyze, process, transmute shadow now as it was 4 years ago?
Oh no, it's a lot faster now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now
for me.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, and do you see the same thing in your clients?
Yes. It's like some don't come back. It's fine. They you know, hooray! If they're aligned with what they want to get, and they're aligned with it, it can go faster. Absolutely. And people that are not even clients are around me are going through. Some not, but some yes. They resorb their situation faster. It's like they get the answers faster. They're connected fast. You know, they get the communication faster. They get the sources faster, resources faster. You know, so yeah, it's going faster. More people are waking up. Absolutely, you know, and faster. We've been there a long time, and they're doing it really like that, really fast.
Yeah.
So lucky them.
Well,
they're doing it fast, you know. Good for them.
Yeah.
But absolutely.
Yeah, I asked somebody the other day on the show, "What do you think's happening with people in this awakening?" And she said to me, "I think people are fed up. I think they're tired of the, you know, anything that's not true and real and raw, you know, and authentic. They're just tired of it, and they may not even be conscious of it. They're just making these decisions to." You know, leave this job or leave this relationship or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no more time to waste.
That's right. So do you do anything now? You work with people in person, but also online. Is that right?
Online, yeah. I wish to open up to the internet, the web. I wish to meet more people. I can speak in French or in English. So that opens up, and I do some workshops also, because you know, if I can teach some people how to do it themselves, that'd be great. So that's exciting when I do workshops.
I was going to ask you that if you do workshops and then follow up with, do you do those only in person or do you do those online?
I don't do them yet online, but I would like to. I have to work on that. Yeah, I would like to. If there was a group of, maybe I could do it on Zoom kind of thing, you know. Absolutely. And if there were 6 people, yeah, absolutely. I'd have to. I'm working on that actually.
Yeah. We can talk about that more in the future and maybe collaborate again. I'd love to help you expand the awareness of what you're doing and the energy that you carry. If you had to reflect in this moment, as I'm asking you to, and get, so many people are waking up now. So many of the practitioners that come on since the first of the year saying, wow, man, people coming in and saying, I had a Kundalini experience. This happened, that happened. What's going on? If there's something you could tell a person who's just waking up from your own experience, what would you tell them? What would you tell them?
Good question. Stay in your heart. Ask yourself the right questions. Don't be scared of looking within. Don't try to face. Don't judge yourself. Open up to yourself. Look in the mirror. You've got a lot of answers there. And when you see there's something that you don't like, about yourself, that's okay. You don't have to like everything.
Yeah.
But don't judge yourself. Don't judge yourself. Look at it in a way to learn to love yourself even more. Yeah. It's see it as a key for you to get closer to yourself. Love yourself more. And you'll see a big difference if you're not judging yourself and you say, okay, yeah, there's this, that, whatever. It's to get out of the victim mode, because in the victim mode, it's very difficult to see that way because it's impossible even. But if you can get out of that and just have that observe, I think that helps. Just to observe and detach and look at it like it was somebody else. Okay, not you. That's easy, right? Somebody else. Invent somebody and look at, and what would you do with that person if you saw that in another person, and you had help that person get closer to themselves and stop judging themselves. So I think that's my way of seeing it, by detaching.
I like your medicine. I like your medicine. I'd love to collaborate with you again somewhere down the road. And
it was great. I
would encourage you to share your links in the YouTube, on the Facebook post, but also in the Soulogy group. There's a very active membership there. We don't have the numbers some of the groups have. I think there's about 25,000 there.
I'm there.
Yeah,
I think I'm part of it now.
Yeah, and they're pretty active. About 65% a week are active on it. So it's a good place to expand awareness. Somebody, I think Helga, has already said they'd love to contact you and also take part in one of your workshops so that they could learn and then expand it. I know that you're doing it for that reason and to expand what you've been given. So I just want to say thank you for honoring us with your presence and sharing space with us and for stepping out. Thank you for stepping out.
Scary, but I did it.
I think you did it.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you.
You did a great job.
I did it.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit rough from the street vernacular. You popped your cherry, so now it's time to get out there and go again. It's time to, But thank you for setting the example for others, especially
thank you for being the person on the other side. You're so humble and loving. It's hard to find it difficult. It was like you were in my living room. So
that's what it should be. Just a conversation. You take care.
Thank you.
Take care. Peace out, everybody.
Bye, Morgan.
See you again.
Also, bye.
Bye-bye.